What's up? This is Nak3d Eli, the mostly unclothed gamer, bringing you a legendary speedrun guide for the Ark. This is currently actually the world record for Master Chief Collection Halo 3, clocking in at a little over 14.5 minutes, a no-death Ark run, which is actually really difficult to pull off. I spent the weekend trying to do it for you guys, and so kicking it off, you can get out of that Pelican a little bit early by holding down the button to get out of a vehicle. Right there was a little slide jump that you can hit, and then coming into here, you want to snipe that back brute twice, which will usually kill him. If not, you can snipe his body a third time to take him out, and then sometimes you want to punch the brute next to him if he's just standing there, but if he tries to dodge out of the way, then you're usually safe to run on through. Usually those jackals in there go down without a struggle, but this time it was a little struggle bus. Here you want to do a very specific jump up there. You want to look in that exact direction, but slightly left than I was. I almost missed that jump. It's kind of difficult to pull off. And then here we're going to grenade around the corner to hit the brute. And then if you want to be safe, you can turn around and kill him or take your time there. You can also do the safe strategy that I use in my zero shot run, where you run around the entire circle to the right. It takes about 27 seconds longer, but it has a near 100% success rate, unlike that risky jump that you saw me pull off. Now here you usually want to take out this grunt under the Pelican before he runs away, because he likes to shoot at you and rip your shields off here. But it looks like he was joining the pack and running away, so I let him live. And we're going to get on the Mongoose, head straight in this direction. This path is very important. You head to the left so that you're not going uphill that much with the Mongoose. That will allow you to pick up speed. You're going to want to go as far to the right there as you can without hitting that tree, and then pray that the chopper does not light you up here. If you go fast enough, the other enemies aren't even on their vehicles to stop you, and then you can get in this ghost, and notice you don't even have to touch the ground. Now we're going to speed through here. Make sure you have full shields before going through that section, and then you're going to want to go slightly more on the left of that rock than I was. Now here you want to be very, very careful not to fall down. I like to go at it backwards and boost to keep myself at a regular, steady pace. And then you want to go angle around that corner just like I did there. That's the corner where you can grip the next wall. Now by doing this, we're actually going to hit a very useful despawn here, and we won't have to deal with the fuel rod brute or any of these jackals, the two ghosts that will usually be running around. So it's a very safe method once you pull it off, but you have to go quickly there. Now here I zoomed in twice just to make sure I had it. I was being a little paranoid, and I thought that I twitched out of the way accidentally. Better to be safe than sorry. And then here, this is a super safe strategy. The risky strategy would be to take your ghost all the way up to that Wraith, and then just to hop off, punch him to death, and then rocket everything around you and snipe everything on foot. It is much, much faster, but for purposes of the guide, and because the MCC world record was not highly optimized, I was still able to take this route and get a sub 15. So normally you want to take out these guys on the left first and then look at the guys on the right. Usually they'll be around that rock and on that turret. Also, I should mention, if most people don't know this, but if you tap the firing trigger, the right trigger when you're in the chopper, you actually shoot faster than if you were to just hold down the trigger. So here I'm constantly tapping right trigger, right trigger, right trigger as fast as I can. And then you're going to want to take out that grunt on that turret there. That's really important so he doesn't light you up while you're taking out these AA Wraiths from behind. Note that if you miss their core and you take too long to kill them, they can potentially turn around and kill you. And with their fuel rod guns, they'll actually use the fuel rods. They'll shoot 6 fuel rods at you from each side. It's kind of scary. So you want to kill them pretty quickly. And then notice that sometimes the gunner can survive. So you always want to be aware and make sure that when you kill the vehicle, you see a triple kill medal pop up on the screen. If it's only a double kill, then you know the guy at the front survived behind the debris. So here we have this giant phallic symbol entering the atmosphere, and you want to jump up on the Pelican to avoid all of the debris on the ground so it doesn't hit you. And then you can actually run to the front of the Pelican and teabag the driver. Because why not? Because we can. So this is the most epic cutscene in the game, in my opinion. Like, the sense of scale and epicosity It's pretty massive. So this is where you take a breather, take a bathroom break, you get some water, grab a snack. If you're streaming, you talk to your chat, and then you wait for this scorpion tank to get off. Do not stand in front of any of these vehicles because they will splatter and kill you. So now you hope that the warthog doesn't get in your way, which he likes to do. And then I'm going to angle to the right slightly to get around him. Try not to run over any debris, because if you do, then the tank likes to get snagged on it, and it's actually kind of annoying to get off. Sometimes you'll notice that the shots will not go where you're shooting, so you want to be careful about moving forward here, and you want to take out all of these vehicles before attacking the hunters. So here, notice that I'm trying to target the ghost as a priority over the hunters, and somehow the hunter in the back died. I guess he brawled with the marine and lost to the marine somehow. Now here, all the enemies that weren't spawned up earlier are now spawned, so you want to hang out on the right side of this rock next to the warthog, so that if you get plasma pistol comboed by those jackals, which happens frequently, the fuel rod will not target you. Usually the rock provides cover from all those enemies in the back, and then it allows you to safely take out the jackals, since your cannon is still active even though your plasma pistol overcharged. Now we're going to want to take out, there's always two ghosts around that corner, and then you want to target this Wraith while moving forward. I find that if you're really aggressive here, he tends not to shoot at you. And then I guess right there I hit a piece of the debris instead of the ghost. You want to take out, there will always be 4 ghosts in succession after the Wraith. And you want to be careful before pushing up right here, because there's tons of fuel rod. I've never seen that shot miss twice, but there you go. And you see how that grunt was still alive behind the barricades. That's why you want to shoot several shots near those barricades. Now notice that I start to target this Wraith immediately and try to avoid the twigs of this tree, the branches, and then I will immediately, after hitting 4 shots on the left, I will start to target the one on the right. 3 direct shots to the front will kill the driver, so you can't get Wraith bombed, and then the 4th shot will kill the gunner as well as the entire vehicle. So I had a really fast clear here. If you do, then you can start to target some of those shade turrets on the right. And then I liked around this corner to just shoot a couple of shots, 1 or 2, at those choppers, because sometimes they like to come up on you and shoot you in the rear. So again, here, be careful. I find that if you're at around this distance, he will either move up on you or try to shoot at you, and it's relatively safe to survive here. Notice I did not shoot at that grunt on the right, and that's because I actually want to save the chopper that he's standing next to. There are 2 brutes on this bridge that are dropped off by the Phantom, and they both have power drains, so you definitely don't want to get close until you know that both of them are dead. And so here it is, the chopper I was talking about. Now there's a theory that after you kill all these enemies, if you kill a chopper after everything else is dead, then that will activate Guilty Spark's dialogue earlier, so we actually save some time here. I don't know how much time it is, maybe 10 seconds. But yeah, other than that, the tank section is definitely the safest segment of the entire mission. The beginning has a lot of RNG, especially that Mongoose run through all the choppers and ghosts, and then the ending has a lot of RNG going through the rooms. So I'll talk about how to minimize those, the rooms in the end. Now here, if you do a 360, for some reason that will spawn Guilty Spark to immediately start opening up the door. You can either do the 360 like I just did by accident, or you can look at the door and then just pan the camera 360 degrees. So now you're going to want to get out and then get back in the chopper. Be very careful with this route. You want to take this very slow. Try to angle it slowly through the middle of each of these rooms is what I've practiced and what I've gotten used to. And then you want to get through this door before the other sides of it open. Be very, very slow here going down. And then we're going to boost forward. Now the whole reason we have the chopper is not only to avoid all of these vehicles up on the top, but we're actually going to take out the Scarab with a super snazzy gravity launch. It's actually relatively difficult to pull off, but once you practice it enough, it becomes pretty simple. Watch out for that grunt with the fuel rod there. Luckily, we survived. You want to go really quickly through, get the gravity. Make sure you don't have any equipment going in there. So earlier, you should throw away any bubble shields or power drains you have. Now here, notice I put it in the bottom left corner of that shadow. And then look at the radar. That's what I use to determine when to jump. It's just as the red dot is passing over you, about half a second later, before he hits the outside, like the exterior of the circle. It's about 80% of the way that the red dot moves. So if you re-watch the video at that segment, you'll see that just as the red dot passes over me, it's about halfway across my radar from my yellow dot to the top of the blue circle, and that's when I like to jump on my gravity. Now here you want to save your boost for that section where there's 2 wraiths. And then here I actually lose 20 whole seconds, which is pretty unfortunate. This is pretty uncommon, but sometimes the chopper does not grab onto the roof of the building, and it does all sorts of weird stuff. And the chopper in general is just a very unwieldy vehicle, and random weird things will happen. But you want to basically aim for that ramp and then just hope, like so, that the chopper hugs the roof of the building. Then we're going to boost ourselves all the way up. And now you're going to want to drop to the top of this building right around here. And then halfway through the drop, you want to get out, or the fall drop timer will kill you. So being in the chopper, make sure if you have a slow drop that you wait until you're about halfway through to the bottom before getting out. Because if you get out too early, you die. If you get out too late, then you die. And now here I like to go in here so the wraiths will stop shooting at me, and then I will switch to my plasma grenades, wait for the Pelican to hit near the ground, and then throw the plasma at the feet of the 2 Marines. What this is going to do is actually skip the dialogue between Guilty Spark and the male Marine, where, you know, he's like, oh, let me take a look, and then Guilty Spark zaps him, and he's like, why'd you do that? And the Arbiter chastises him, and then it takes, you know, the Marine says something. It's just a ton of dialogue, and that is all skipped by doing that trick. Now here we luckily got a bubble shield, so getting a bubble is super, super nice for the first difficult room coming up down these stairs. If you didn't get a bubble from that first guy, then I recommend you run around this right corner and backsmack that brute, and sometimes he will drop a bubble shield. But you don't always need it, it just makes it safer to get through here. So you want to stick this guy and then try to stick or rocket that guy, and then rocket these 2 guys at the end, throw down the bubble shield. I wish I had thrown it up a little bit more, but luckily I got through safely. If you don't have the bubble shield, then instead of dropping the bubble and just running through, you would be spamming grenades through the corridors to your right. There's like these 2 little hallways. And the grenades tend to cause the brutes to freak out and not shoot at you. Now this is the most difficult room actually in the entire run. What I like to do is just this, is I fuel rod those grunts, throw a grenade, and then just run through here, try to get him to punch you, and then dodge his punch. That's the best way to do it. Sometimes you just want to throw fuel rods at the maulers if they're up towards the top of the stairs and you can't just run past them. And it takes 4 fuel rod shots to kill the turret chieftain. Now here I thought that guy would actually go down a little faster, but still this was a super duper fast clear. I guess I killed him so fast that the jackals were actually coming out. I didn't expect that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have reloaded, so minor time loss. Now here we're going to go man mode, so I like to come out to here, start throwing my grenades, and then activate camo. Notice that the chieftain will still see you, and then right here, he was shooting at me, which I didn't actually expect. Luckily, we killed him. Now, the chieftain was being weird, so instead of actually charging me so that I could backsmack him, he was doing all of his other moves that I didn't want him to do. And now here, potentially could have taken these guys out slightly faster, but still a very fast clear before they even got to the top of that ramp. It's possible for you to grenade the door and kill them both as soon as they come out. So when all is said and done, you've seen the minor time saves where you can improve on this run. But for now, this is the world record in Master Chief Collection, and I hope it's useful for you guys as a guide. So stand in that little region to activate the ending cutscene with the Pelican. And I will catch you guys next time on another very difficult mission, the Covenant.